What's going on, guys? John here, back again with another review, and that's for It. Check it out.
Are you just gonna pretend it isn't happening like everyone else in this town? If we stick together, we'll win.
Alright guys, so we have quite the cast here, and they are Jaden Lieberher, Jeremy Ray Taylor, Sophia Lillis, Finn Wolfhard, Wyatt Oleff, Chosen Jacobs, and Jack Dylan Glazer, and of course, Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise the Dancing Clown. And guys, this is directed by, I believe his name is Andrés Muschietti, something like that, and he obviously directed Mama before this. So, my experience with this, guys. Have you guys seen my last review for It, the 1990 miniseries? I haven't seen that before this week. And so going into this, I didn't really have high expectations. I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm interested, I'm interested to see this on the big screen, And I was like, I'll revisit the miniseries once I get closer. But revisiting the miniseries, guys, or not revisiting, watching it for the first time, like I said in that review, I really fell in love with these characters and these stories. So I was just so excited to see this. And did it live up to that? I think it did, guys. Starting off with my negatives to this film, guys, I only found one, and I was kind of nitpicking, and that's that they don't really spend a lot of time in developing these characters, these 7 core characters. And in a way, I kind of feel like that's kind of smart of them. Like, I kind of like that aspect because they were able to still tell this story, but I would like to have a little bit more time with each character, kind of getting a little bit more of a connection with them, kind of like I had in the miniseries. But in the miniseries, it was like 3 hours long, so you had an extra hour to add of development. But like I said, it was a nitpick, and it didn't really bother me all that much. All right, that was pretty much it for my negatives, and we'll move on to my positives. And the first one I have, guys, is the director. I feel like he just did a phenomenal job, fantastic job in kind of bringing us this retelling of this story to the big screen this time, and just balancing a lot of things like the horror aspect of it, and also these characters. Like I said, they don't spend too much time on them, but you kind of feel for them as a group. You want them to succeed and kind of get over this horrifying things that they're going through. And surprisingly, actually, this movie is really funny. It had a lot of that sort of dialogue between the characters that you would have with friends, and I feel like they brought that to the big screen perfectly. And also, just like I said, it's very hard to cross that line with horror and comedy and kind of still tell a really compelling story, and I thought he did exactly that. Moving on, guys, obviously I have to talk about these characters and these actors. I thought they did a fantastic job in their roles portraying these specific characters, and obviously, like I said, you don't really connect to a lot of them, mainly just like 2 or 3. But you still see their, like I said, you still see their chemistry. They work so well with each other, and I felt like that was key to kind of, feeling with them, having that connection as a group, kind of that camaraderie that they have, and kind of like worrying every time they're going into like a creepy house, or one of them should walk in alone. You know what I'm saying? You worry for their fate, and that's something that obviously you have to have in horror movies. And one of the key aspects to this film was that it was able to be rated R. So the miniseries was great, and it was still kind of creepy and stuff, but I feel like they didn't really have the freedom to just kind of capture the creature of It or Pennywise or whatever. And boy, like, man, this movie was gory. This movie was scary and creepy all in one. There was these like 2 specific moments that I remember, like where obviously there's Pennywise in the scene, and I'm just like, wow, like what the heck, like this is creepy as hell, or even scary. And I feel like they didn't change this part of the film. They probably just didn't show it in the miniseries. But man, almost, I think this is in the very beginning, just one little thing about the fact that they actually showed something that happened, that was just like, oh my god, like you already know what kind of film you're getting into. And then, man, I'm just thinking about this one thing, this one scene in particular. I was like, you know what? Yep, that, I don't want to give too much away, but I was like, yep, that person is dead, But with that being said, guys, I feel like that was a positive, that it was, just scary, gory. It was rated R, so you were able to see a lot more, and I feel like that brought a lot to the horror. And I can't talk about the positives without mentioning Bill Skarsgård's performance as Pennywise. Man, Tim Curry is great. I really loved him. That was in my positives, Tim Curry's performance. And I feel like that's the original classic kind of performance as Pennywise, but I thought Bill just did a phenomenal job in just building his own and creating his own Pennywise, and kind of just taking some elements of the Curry performance, but just making it his own, and kind of giving us the Pennywise we know, but just to a whole new level. And I feel like that's a credit to, obviously, like I just said, the gore and scare, and the fact that this movie is rated R. But yeah, he killed it in his performance. Every time he was on screen, I just had my eyes glued to him, and I kept wondering, what is this guy gonna do next? And just the little mannerisms he had too. I noticed a lot of them, that like whenever he would grab somebody, like he'd like mimic their scare and stuff like that. I don't know, it was just great, and I have to mention this in the positives. Like I said in my review for the 1990 miniseries or movie, whatever you want to call it, I fell in love with the story and these characters, and I felt like they still were able to capture that. I said in the beginning that the characters weren't really well developed a lot, but that aspect of them together, that Losers Club aspect, was still there, and also just the story of them just trying to deal with this alone, not having any of the adults help and stuff like that. I thought that was still there, and that was wonderful to see on screen again. And also something wonderful to see on screen was actually just the movie itself. I thought it was well shot. Some of the scenes were like really just, I feel like they're going to be iconic in this world of It now, you know? Some really amazing shots, especially obviously with Pennywise, and just there's one specific scene at the end that I was just like, man, this is just great cinematography at work. And you'll know what I'm saying. So I'll give you guys a hint. Floating. But if you guys have seen this movie, you know what I mean. Overall, this was a great film, guys. I really enjoyed my time at the theaters and just revisiting these characters and the story so soon on the big screen too. The fact that it was rated R was a big plus for me. The director finding a perfect balance between like horror, the story, even the comedy side of the story, and just Bill Skarsgård's performance as Pennywise. All that being said, guys, I have to give it a 9 out of 10, guys. I liked it that much. And the negative that I had was a nitpick. And I just feel like, man, it's just one of these movies that is a must-watch in theaters. So I highly recommend this to go check it out. But I know a lot of you have seen this, so let me know your thoughts on the comment section down below if you guys agree with me or disagree with me. And guys, I did review, like I said earlier, the mini-series that came out in 1990, so go check that out if you want to. I have other movie-related content on my channel as well. And if you guys want to follow me outside of YouTube, you guys can on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at The Real Talk, Talk with 2 Ks. And as always, I'll see you at the movies. Later, guys.